Okay, I found this particular ear out here, this particular plant. You can see a lot of our little friends here, the Japanese beetles, that are at work on the silks on this particular ear. You know, sometimes I get the questions, how do you know if they're causing damage or whether it's after the fact that they're just feeding on silks that have already done their job? Well, there is a way to tell. You know, if you harvest this ear and just pull it off the stalk, then if you gently peel those stalks or peel those husks away from that ear, you know, the size of this ear, I would suspect we're not going to find much issue here at all. It's definitely, you know, starting to see that ear elongate and starting to get some size to it. But once those silks do their job, they detach from that ear, and then they start at the base of the plant. You know, the silk's at the base of the plant, or the base of the ear are the first ones out. Then once they make that connection, you know, they have that fertilization of that ovule that they're attached to. They detach from that ovule within, I think it's 24 hours that they detach from that ovule, and then they're just loose on that ear. So if you're really careful about that, you can see what silks have made their way off of that ear. You know, yeah, in this case, they're all pretty well detached. Maybe a few up here that are still hanging on. You know, yeah, and we're starting to see a pretty good ear starting to develop there. You know, got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. You know, there's 18. Nice length kind of starting to develop there. But that's a way that you can tell. You know, there are, you know, once those silks, if those silks would not have done their job, or they've not quite done their job yet, you would see them attached and just hanging there at the tip of the ear. They'd be hanging down here into this part of the canopy. You'd see those still attached to the ovules that they're trying to fertilize. So in this particular case, definitely not causing us an issue. You know, the damage we're seeing there is kind of after the fact. So you can see maybe a couple of missed kernels, or maybe later pollinating kernels, maybe at the base of the ear there, maybe caused by that. But overall, not much of an issue here to be concerned about. So, which that's generally what I see when it comes to Japanese beetle pressure, is they're here, but they're not really causing damage to the point where they need to be addressed earlier on. Here's another one. You see there, 3 or 4 of them are still working on it. That ear isn't quite as big as the last one. You know, there's another one that's kind of working on it. But I think here these ears are already got enough size to them that we're not really concerned that they're causing any pollination concerns. But we'll peel another one back here just to kind of double check, see where we're at as far as that pollination goes, see if it is a concern or not. So not anything to be concerned about, but just kind of wanted to point something out here as I was, you know, exiting the field. I saw a few of these here, thought it'd be worth maybe sharing a little bit of another clip for you. So yeah, there's one. You know, those are kind of peeling loose there. They're working their way up. Yep, he's in good shape. You know, that one there feels like he's in pretty good shape too. Already starting to elongate and develop. So here's an ear that's maybe just a little bit further behind that. So just to show you that silk and that what that looks like when that begins to detach, or if there's still some that are attached on the top side of that ear, you know, the later silks that are still on there. Like I said, my big fat fingers in these, you know, nice young silks here, or young husks here, are sometimes not the best combination. But if you peel those off gently, you can get down to the important layer here. And peel those off from the base. There you go. Kind of open that up nice and gentle. Maybe see here what I was talking about with those silks that are still attached. Okay, yeah, there you go. There's a good example. So you can see these up here more toward the top of the ear. This is kind of where it's still working on pollinating. Okay, kind of get that into the light so you can see a little bit better. These back here, they've already done their job. So it starts at the base of the ear, kind of works its way up. You can see as you get up here, this is the area that's really working on that pollination right now. So these back here, you know, probably did their job within the last 24 hours. You know, and right here, there's a lot of them that are still at work. So kind of give you an example of what that looks like. So if you're seeing a lot of